What is up, friends? Getting this ready to roll. It's been a minute. They've updated Wirecast substantially. Oh, wait, that's not working. Come on. Come on, microphone. You can do it. Where did it go? Check one, check two. Hold on. There we go. All right, so we do have it. Sorry, it looked like it wasn't working on my end, which is never a good thing. For some reason, it's not showing this in the preview, and I'm not really sure why. It's been a minute since I've been live on this channel, but a lot of what I want to talk about today has to do with that because I've been preparing something. I've got some changes to talk about. I have all sorts of new stuff to talk about, as well as the new theme. If you haven't been paying attention or you don't follow me on my personal profile, you might not realize that I have relaunched my music, which is something that's really important to me, something that I haven't been doing nearly enough lately. So if you want to check that out, I don't have it on the lower third because it's not really a business thing. TheSilenceNoise.com. It's all over my personal profile, so add me if you don't have me there. However, I didn't come to talk about that today. What I wanted to talk about today was a little bit of what my focus has been over the last 60 days. Because to be able to talk about advertising and to be able to talk about the changes to Facebook, the changes to Google, all those things, I have run a direct service agency for the past few years, which is really focused on those things. Saying, how do you place ads? How do you, go through the process? And there has been such a massive change over the past 9 months to how ads work, particularly when it comes to Facebook. Hello, Julia. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm going to dig into that. But first, I want to make a couple of major announcements about what I'm doing with Explore Momentum and what I'm doing with the Your Momentum Now community. And I'm a guy, I think a reason a lot of you follow me is because not only am I transparent about what I do in the agency, I'm transparent about what I do in my company. And so for the past 2 years, a little bit under 2 years actually, I've been running a community called Your Momentum Now. It's at yourmomentumnow.com. And really what it's about is providing access to all of the different programs that I have created over the years. There's 20 plus programs in there, ranging from marketing plans to business plans to sales to technology to building your website. Anybody who has that year-long access that they get regularly is familiar with just how many programs that I have in there. But over the past year and a half, I really wanted to try an experiment because the most important thing to me isn't necessarily just what I can get done for me. My business thrives when you do well. My business thrives when you care about the content that I'm creating, when it's relevant to you, when it's interesting to you, when it can help you. And beyond that, part of what I wanted to create with the Your Momentum Now community, as I've pitched it over and over and over, was I wanted to be able to build programs for people that couldn't build them on their own for whatever reason. I have a lot of experience in building membership sites. I have a lot of experience in working in, varying degrees of membership. I've filmed, God, can't even count on my toes even how many programs I've developed over the years. At least 50 different programs ranging from my own programs to programs that I've worked on with other people. And really the goal of the community was to bring all of these experts that I know together, especially the newbie experts. People who had never done this or people who were looking for a stage to take. I really wanted to bring them together into a community where all of us could create programs. I would handle the technology, I would handle the back end, and their responsibility was going to be to promote, to basically go out, promote their new program, offer that new program. And so I'm not changing with the programs that I have up there right now, but one thing that's changed massively, which is going to feed into my Facebook conversation, is there has been a major, massive shift in this industry, whether you want to call it the expert industry or the speaking industry or the business services industry. And that feeds into what I'm going to talk to about Facebook today, because the majority of people I've worked with are people who are like me, who are involved in information products, or they're involved in coaching, or they're involved in expert training. And there isn't a person, big or small, that I have seen that has not been impacted by the changes in the industry. And I'm going to throw some blind speculation out about that today. But the focus of this platform was really still to develop programs with partners who weren't going to do it on their own or couldn't do it on their own, or there was, just reasons that they couldn't do it. The technology was too daunting. Some of that has changed. There are many platforms out there these days where you can easily develop your own stuff. There's ClickFunnels, there's Thrive, which is what I use. There's lots of different membership sites. I still want to hold to the spirit of that. You know, I still want to continue to find partners who are interested in living that mission, and the goal of Your Momentum Now, Expert Momentum, all the different things that I've been doing in this brand is to build a stage, not just for myself, but for all of the amazingly talented and awesome people that I know. So I'm going to continue to do that. But one thing that's going to shift about the community is I'm already the person who has most of the education that's up in there. There are a lot of amazing training folks with a lot of amazing webinars and programs and things that we put up in there. And I want to continue to do that. I'm just not going to lead with that as much as the focus. What I want to do is jump back in and really focus on developing some new stuff over the next few months for all of you to be able to go through, to be able to get things done, to be able to potentially get back to that place where Your Momentum Now and Expert Momentum is really a platform for those of you who want to find a place to develop programs, not do it alone, not go it alone, have a community to work with, have a community of people to talk to, which is the most important thing. But I'm going to really take the reins over the next couple of months and focus a lot more on developing some new programs. And that's actually going to start this week. So another thing that's going to change slightly, some of the programs in there are like this, but the format needs to change. Now, a lot of you, as you're hearing me talk about this in my own business and my own platform, should be listening to this through the lens of these are things that play into your business, and they're things that matter to you as well in this process. And in addition to that, there are things that are going to play into this Facebook conversation that I'm going to get into in a second here. But one of the things that's happened is attention spans are shorter. I love to talk. I love to teach. I especially love to do it in in-person settings and in-person rooms. It's basically my favorite thing in the world to do outside of music is work with people. And so I like to go on and on and on forever. I was doing an hour-long show on Tuesdays over the summer. I stopped that back in July or August. But what I was finding was people just weren't sticking around for the long-form content as much as they used to. And so kind of combining the changes I want to make to the community and the way that I was thinking, I'm going to focus more on providing faster-paced information. And I talk very fast the way it is. But what I mean by that is offering courses that have shorter modules, you know, and that are not as focused on the long form, you know, 60-minute, 90-minute, you know, 2-hour lesson sizes that I am known for. Now, I'm going to continue to do that in certain courses. There are certain things where we just can't get around that. But in the community, what I want to focus on is fast information. Toolkits, checklists, things like you've seen me come out with over the past 6 months, like my event checklist or my expert checklist or my marketing, find your next customer toolkit. I want to provide a lot more things like that. And so the Your Momentum Now community is going to move in that direction, where I'm going to focus on more streamlined courses with shorter modules. They may be longer form courses because for some of these, the content still has to go, but they're going to focus on shorter modules that are easily digestible. You can do them on breaks. You can do them at the beginning of your day, at the end of your day, but they're going to focus on that shorter form education, kind of similar to what 1, 2, 3, 4 marketing or business success factors in the community are already. So the free level is going to move more towards having a lot more of those resources available. For the free level members of Your Momentum Now at this point, you will get live broadcasts of these courses. So you'll be able to get there for the live broadcast. However, for when I build the course pages and you can go through them and there's all the stuff that's associated with that, that'll be part of our premium membership. And if you have never heard of premium, yourmomentumnow.com, or you can find it at exploremomentum.com. It's $25 a month to be part of the community. And I'm offering a discount right now where if you sign up for a year, you get half the year for free. So that knocks the price in half. So you go from $25 a month to like $12.25 a month to be part of it, to get access to all of these little mini courses that I do and all the stuff that I'm going to be developing over the next couple of months. Again, this doesn't mean that I'm never going to have guests on again, or I'm not going to do that as much. It's just that I want to get this stuff going at a faster pace, and I want to be able to provide more for the community going forward. So our first course is going to start, and it's going to focus on copywriting, which is really one of the most important factors in success. It plays again into this Facebook ads conversation. And so I'm going to be talking about practical tips for writing better copy, for your emails, for your ads, for basically for everything you do. and focusing on it in this more streamlined format. So we're going to talk about that. I'm developing a new business planning course that we're going to have up. I have a short form one that's focused on your vision and intention that will remain there. Nothing that's there right now is going to come down. It's just to add new things and to provide updates to different things. So we got a business planning and a marketing planning course coming up. I'm going to develop courses around those toolkits that we've talked about events, especially when it comes to facilitating events and putting your events together. So a lot of that you're going to see come out over the next couple of months in the form of these shorter form courses that are coming out. So I'm excited to get to that. So again, if you're not a member of the free community yet, yourmomentumnow.com. You can also get to it from exploremomentum.com. Just click where it says community. There's a free level and there's the premium level. And as I mentioned, all these premium courses will be up in there. So those are some big changes. As I mentioned, nothing that's there right now is going to change or come down. All that stuff's going to stay up. But just shifting the focus a little bit. And we'll see how that plays out over the next couple of months. And again, my goal here is still to create a stage and to create a platform for all of the amazing people I know. So I hope to continue doing that over the next couple of months. And speaking of that, I'm going to be out on the road. Excited to announce this. Coming up in November, I'm going to be in Florida for the Author 101 University event. So I'm excited to return to that. I've taken a hiatus from it, but I'm coming back this year. It's at the end of November. So if you are in the Florida area and you're in the process of writing your first book or your next book, or you just want to hang out with a lot of cool people who are, trying to become authors, trying to become known for their expertise in what they do, I'm going to be on that stage in November. I'll be doing some individual videos about that, talking about what I'll be talking about at that event, which is how to leverage your book into a business and marketing plans for your book and all that good stuff. But that's coming up on the calendar. So if you're in the Florida area or you know someone in the Florida area, let's do that. If you would like to be an affiliate for that, if you have friends in Florida that you want to show up or be part of this at this point, I want to make sure that you let people know if you can. So get in touch with me. Just shoot me a message. You can do that either here or on the plugin on my site. So if you visit Explore Momentum, then you'll notice there's a chat box there. Both of those come right to me, not to a robot, not to a chat bot, even though I love chat bots and stuff like that. They come direct to me. So I will get that and point you in the right direction. But if you're in Florida, the Orlando area, let me know and I'll be doing that. So let's give you some value, because I like to do that every time I come live. And let's talk about what on earth has been going on with Facebook ads. So earlier, beginning of this year, I talked about the Facebook apocalypse or adpocalypse. And it actually has been called adpocalypse now. I know that, I'd heard that term before, but I feel like me calling it the Facebook apocalypse made it popular. So you're welcome to all of you out there who took that term and ran with it or converted it to adpocalypse. But it's been so big that people in the industry are now referring to it as the adpocalypse. And so with all of the changes that Facebook and Facebook has made over the past year, which Facebook changes incorporate their other properties. A lot of people forget that Facebook owns Instagram, they own WhatsApp, they dominate a huge portion of the industry. And Google, along with that, does a lot of that as well. And so the industry has changed and the adpocalypse has showed up, what does that mean? Well, the first thing is that digital marketing is no longer some niche, obscure thing that all of us who had that first mover's advantage, or we were the people that were early there and we were getting incredible costs and, or incredible, discounts essentially on our traffic and all of that stuff. That has dried up in many ways. And in particular, there is no industry that has been hurt more, in my opinion. And I've seen many that have been hurt, but there have been no industry that has been hurt more than this expert industry, the information product industry, the business coaching industry. So why? So first of all, let me engage in some wild speculation, some unbridled speculation about what's happened. And a lot of this has come from some really good friends and colleagues that I have in the industry who have mentioned that if you think back to even 5 or 6 years ago, the concept of business coaching or the concept of information products or expertise or any of that stuff was still relatively obscure. A lot of people, when you would talk about being a business coach, most people didn't know what that meant. These days, big money has moved into these spaces. And a lot of these spaces, particularly business coaching and training like this, that people would used to have to leave their companies to go get and leave their companies to go do, are now being brought in-house and big money is being thrown behind them. Great example, these days, if you, I live in the city of Boston, which is known for its co-working spaces. And you have companies like WeWork and these co-working, co-thing spaces. These days, these co-working spaces provide business coaches that are in-house that can help you with these different things. So it's not obscure to the point where everybody's like, oh, I don't even know what a coach is, and it's novel or it's new. Nowadays, what I'm really saying is that the competition has gone up, and not just by other people who may be at the same skill level or the same appearance that you are. It's that big corporate money has moved into these. I have a friend that works for one of the large real estate companies in the country. And the same thing has happened, whereas people used to go to personal development workshops or external training shops or business development conferences. This real estate company, for example, has that entire culture in the company. So instead of having to go out as a real estate professional to a workshop or out to something else, these things are offered in-house, as well as coaching, as well as marketing services, as well as consulting, because these industries have really opened up their eyes to how much money is made in these spaces and to what it's worth to them. So many of them have also moved into the advertising space. So if we look at Facebook costs year over year, traditionally Facebook costs would go up, depending on your vertical, they would go up anywhere between 30 and 70% a year, with 70 obviously being the high end. Now for the past few years, if you look at trade journals, you look at ad journals, those costs have gone up 70 to 80% year over year. At the beginning of this year, when I was giving stats on ads, there were many verticals that were seeing increases that were as high as 300%. So why is that? Why is it that ads are so much more expensive now? Well, the first thing is there's bigger money in it. There's more competition that has more money to spend. So there are more successful people in these industries that realize the value of ads and they have more money to spend, which is number one. And big corporate dollars have moved into these things. Internet is the new TV. It's the new radio. And so now you as a solo entrepreneur, you as a small shop, have to realize that you're up against that type of competition. Now, there's still advantages. You can still be agile. But what this means is if you're seeing your costs go up, first of all, some of that is just a natural bump. Well, if you want to call it a natural bump, some of it is just a bump industry-wide. That costs have gone up across the board no matter what, and it's pretty much unavoidable. But what it also means is that you have to be way more versatile and flexible with your creative and with your ads and with your targeting. One thing that changed with the massive data breach that happened at the beginning of this year that I was talking about in the Facebook results course, and I'll be talking about as I surely prepare our Facebook results course for next year, which I know I do that every year, so we're getting close to the time for that to come up again. One of the things that I'll start preparing for that is you'll need to make sure that your targeting options have changed with that data breach. And so a lot of third-party data or a lot of the way that you used to target before is not available anymore. So there were certain ways that you used to be able to target that you're no longer able to target. However, along with that have come some algorithm changes. So the best way to focus on your targeting is to start wider, and then Facebook's machine learning will always, at this point, try to find you the most likely people. Facebook wants you to succeed regardless of the cost, even if it's more expensive. I always say this, that they want you to spend more money on the platform, which means they want you to succeed. So at this point, your goal still needs to be to start wide, to let the algorithm do its work. And then we're back into a phase where using lookalike audiences of people who have taken particular action. So lookalike audiences of people that clicked on your link or that signed up for your thing or that bought your offer. Creating lookalikes has basically come back in vogue. There was a period of time where that wasn't as good, where it wasn't working as well. And again, all of this is always very specific depending on your vertical. It's hard to say there's a universal rule, but again, across the many different accounts that I work on and have seen people work on, these tend to be the things that have stuck at this point. However, one of the things that is really critical to remember is that now we're back to this point where lookalikes really matter. And so that means that action is really important. Now that, and creating lookalikes based off of that is important. So the best way to give you some specifics of what to do, start with a wider target at the beginning. see how that's performing, let Facebook's algorithm do the work, and then start to create lookalikes based off of your desired action. Now, another big development that's happened in Facebook ads that just came out recently is that Facebook is now in the midst of, a potential major lawsuit over their reporting and their data reporting on video ads. And the accusation in this, which of course this is speculation, the accusation in this area is that Facebook was dramatically and vastly overrating the quality of video viewers and video stats that were placed on video ads. Because even myself have, because of what I was seeing in ads, what I was seeing on the conversion side, have pushed and pushed and pushed for video. This doesn't mean that video is dead or video has gone away, but what I have noticed that has happened is we went even over the past 3 months, 4 months, it seems as if there's been major changes in the reporting for video ads, particularly video viewer ads, and the quality of the traffic you're getting in those ads, where it pretty much seemed like no matter what video you threw up, as long as it was in specs and looked a certain way or worked a certain way, as long as that was the case, what you would see is that you would have high relevance scores and you would have low costs. Well, that has changed. That doesn't mean that video is still not viable, and the strategy of using video both to develop a retargeting or lookalike audience, as well as using it, to maintain engagement and reach across multiple platforms isn't viable. It just means that it seems like now the stats are reporting things that make things look a lot more grim and that make the cost models look a lot more grim. And we will need to see how this lawsuit issue plays out, or whether this is a non-issue, or how that settles out, or any of those things. But it has changed dramatically how video ads look when you're placing them in the system, particularly in terms of their relevance and of their effectiveness, which is really important to keep in mind. So all this means, the same as I've always taught in the Facebook results course, is you have to step back and be aware of your own key performance indicators, your own KPIs. You need to design your campaigns in the most organized way possible, and you need to be versatile enough to change quickly if things aren't working at certain phases of the campaign. So the best way to do this is to map it. We talk about this all the time. That's something I'm going to do in the community. So if you're not a member of the community, do that. Ask your questions. Say, I'm not sure what my funnel map is. Those are everyone's favorite types of videos. Those are my favorite types of videos to do, and those are everyone's favorite types of videos to watch. So if you know someone right now that is struggling with their marketing funnel and needs to learn how to map it out or draw it out, then please refer them to the Your Momentum Now community, where we do those things and everyone loves to see them and I love to do them. So ask your questions. Let's develop that map together. It's something that I like to do. It's something that I know is super helpful for the community. Don't be afraid to bring your funnel questions or your challenges to the community, because the community is where I do that, and our community Q&As. And so I want to cover more of that, and map that out. But you got to have that in order because of the changes. So in short, the ad industry has changed. Facebook costs, depending on your vertical, are up anywhere from 70% to about 250%. Video has gone from being not as en vogue as it was to being something that's a strategic decision you have to make, and the ad reports are reflecting that and showing that it's not working that well. Messenger ads continue to grow up, to blow up, which I was mentioning here. Now, a lot of people have done this with chatbots or marketing automation that uses that, but I found that, even allocating human beings to have those conversations and respond when people are sending messages, unless you're driving massive volume and you're using them to segment and you're doing things like that. But I know most of you who watch me are more solopreneurs, or you're expert industry types, or you don't have huge teams, or you might have a VA or something that's working for you. But again, that human contact can make a big difference. In fact, for me, I use a plugin that's called, or a service and a plugin for my website that's called Drift. For those of you that haven't seen it, it's drift.com, I believe. Let me just make sure that's the right. Yes, it's drift.com. It's free for most of you to sign up. It's a widget that you can install on your WordPress-based website, or pretty much any website, a piece of code. And it creates the ability for people that visit your website on whatever pages you choose, or all the pages, to be able to chat with you, to send you messages. And there's many other features. They just had a huge convention here in Boston, actually. I wasn't in town, so I couldn't make it. But again, it adds the feature where people have the ability to interact, to ask questions, and you can deal with the issue of skeptical market. Again, right now, considering the way that expenses have gone up in the expert industry, the way that the market has changed, the way that people are more aware of these types of products and offers, the way this isn't as novel and entertaining and interesting just because it exists anymore. It's way more of a mature market, is really important. And so even having that chat accessibility or using Messenger ads on Facebook to create conversations and to start things off that way is really, really critical. And so those ads continue to grow. I know that's been a big focus of a lot of the major marketing industries at this point. A lot of the major marketers that I follow have been hammering on the importance of messenger services and messenger ads over that period of time. So it's really important to look at your strategy from the ground up and see where these components fit in. Where does video fit in? Video is still viable. You just have to be very clear on what your plan is and be able to adjust if it's not working the way that you would hope. It isn't good enough anymore to just film a video or do a Facebook Live, throw it up, and hope that that's going to be what gets everything going in your funnel. Now, you might be lucky and get that, but most people will not have that experience. So in this case, it's really important for all of you to be mapping out those funnels, to be drawing them out, to be thinking about them in depth and doing that kind of thing. So that's what's happened with Facebook. I'm going to continue to provide updates on that. I've continued to have success and seen similar results to what I used to see even 6 to 9 months ago in other verticals, especially in the health vertical right now. Facebook and Instagram ads have really continue to excel in other markets or other verticals where it has been bloody and competitive and shark-infested waters, as we've been talking about at this point. Uh-oh. Julia's having a problem. Oh, that's annoying. She was saying she tried to comment. That's annoying. I'm not sure why that happened. Anywho, but I was just making sure because Julia always leaves good comments for this. Not sure why that's happening on your end. However, really important to be keeping those things in mind. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. Some updates to the community. There's going to be a lot more shorter form content coming out. I'm going to focus on shorter videos, shorter toolkits, that kind of thing, even though this one blew up to 30 minutes as it is. But I want to give more bite-sized material, focus on that for all of you as part of this process to do that. And I'm excited to talk about the new focus in the community and to dig into this copywriting course. So if you want to be part of copywriting when that starts later this week, sign up for the community, yourmomentumnow.com. If you want to get access to it for, forever, you sign up for Your Momentum Now Premium, which once you've signed up for the free community, you get all the options for that to get access to that. And now it'll be over 20 courses that are in the community, as well as all the content that we've provided over the past couple of years. So again, check that out, yourmomentumnow.com. exploremomentum.com. I hope to see some of you live in Florida over the next month or so when that happens next month. And I'll be out here live with more short form stuff as time goes on. So, and you'll also notice new themes. I mentioned the band. I mentioned the band everywhere, thesilencenoise.com. Check it out. I need to have my sound on, which is probably not. And now we'll talk to all of you very soon. In fact, those of you that like the band stuff, I'm actually going to do a live on that. So, have a wonderful rest of your day. Talk to y'all soon.